Hi ladies and gentlemen, Manora Evenberg here again. I think I'm going to keep things short, or at least I'm going to try to keep things short in this video. I'm just going to discuss some things regarding pitfalls of the occult. I already discussed things like that in the past, but this is a specific side branch or a specific branch or a side piece of the dangers that the occult has. This is based on my personal experience with customers and so on that I've had. The majority of customers that I've had and that I have are mentally unstable. Again, it just goes to show you, and when I say, keep in mind, when I say mentally unstable, I'm not talking about insane or anything, okay? Not even insane in a joking way, like, hey, you're nuts, your head isn't screwed on straight. No. They're mentally unstable in the sense that they are either on the verge of having a nervous breakdown, a mental breakdown, or something similar. In any case, they have difficulty thinking clearly. They can't think rationally and clearly and see things for the way that they are. And I would like to simply tell people, my followers, people that are following me, to keep all of this in mind, okay? Take care of yourself, because I'm just going to list a couple of examples here. I had a customer. Well, he wasn't really a customer. I had a customer, a gentleman from the Bahamas, and after things didn't work out, unfortunately, what this gentleman did is that this gentleman basically cursed himself by just hurling negative energy magic-wise or occult-wise, not via me, of his own accord, okay? He was relatively adept or let's just say proficient at witchcraft. And he basically started cursing, or he cursed people left and right that just gave him a hard time. We're not talking about legitimate enemies that deserve to be destroyed. This guy basically cursed a cashier at a cash register, for example, because that cashier was rude at him. He didn't actually do this. This is just an example that I'm giving. And any person that is familiar with the basics of the occult, this is occultism 101. You never hurt someone innocent. What do you think is going to happen? The same way that what you did is that you committed an occult crime. And just as in society, when you commit a crime, you get locked up or otherwise, you have to pay, and you have to atone for your sins towards society. And the law takes care of that. The judicial department within a society takes care of that. It's the same thing, okay? That's the way that God has created the world. The way that things work is that if you commit such an occult crime, that it's going to come back to you multifold, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I helped this customer, and the thing is that this guy, and it didn't work, of course, and the reason for that is simply karma. He didn't tell me anything from the beginning. I only found all of this out later, and what do you think happened? He had a nervous breakdown. He thought that everything was just one giant delusion, and he just told me that he's not even sure that everything that happened, including dealing with me, even actually happened. Blah, 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 etc., etc. And I was like, wow, this guy's really in the danger zone mentally. This guy is completely gone. I mean, he's just broken mentally, okay? He suffered an incredible mental breakdown. But then it became apparent when he told me that, and then my reaction was like, I didn't know. I want nothing to do with them. I broke off contact and I said, no, I don't meddle. I want nothing to do with your kind, okay? You're an occult parasite. No normal, honorable person does that. What you did was hurt innocent people. He did it multiple times, not just once or twice. He did it multiple times. I know his time. I know his kind and I know his type. And I was like, nah, I never even would have helped you as a customer if I had known that you were like that, okay? But all of this only came to light after he told me about this. Another customer of mine, the mistake that he made is that he basically loved someone more than he loved himself. And again, the fact that already says enough. I don't even have to elaborate on that. He literally loves someone, a woman, more than he loved himself, or than he loves himself. And I advised him because I saw it, but of course I'm not going to stick my neck out. It's your life, and it's not my place to decide that for you, to make decisions for you. No. I simply gave him some friendly advice. Take care of yourself first. You have to put yourself first. But he didn't want to listen, and as the saying goes, if you don't want to listen, then you're going to have to experience things firsthand. And it's the same deal. He's completely unstable right now mentally. He is completely gone. He's depressed. He's in the middle of a mental breakdown. Nothing, okay? He is just completely gone too. And that's just the message that I want to send out to you guys, okay? Just be careful, okay? Don't allow something like this to happen to you. Don't attach too much hope on something, okay? Or to something. Don't do that. Always be rational and approach everything from a worst case scenario. Immediately think, okay, if I do this, if I deal with this, or if I do something like that, what is the worst case scenario? What's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, and then just set yourself up for that. That way you can't possibly avoid disappointment, because that's the way that I live too. When I just basically perform a ritual, or I undertake some new occult project, working with some new spirit or something similar, I don't automatically envision or daydream about success. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that once I've achieved success. Nah. The first thing I set myself up for is this worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth my time? Is it worth my energy? Is it worth my effort? And is it worth all the resources, last but not least, that I'm going to expend on this project? And what is the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing is that I fail miserably, completely, utter failure, that I don't gain anything from it. Is all of that I just mentioned worth it for me? If so, then sure, no problem. Then yeah, that's the way I literally just approach practically all of my workings, okay? If something works, fine, great, of course, it's supposed to work. But worst case scenario, if it doesn't work, then it's no surprise for me either. I just jump on the second bandwagon, or I just jump to another... I just jump on the second bandwagon and I just jump to the next step, or I move on to the next step, which is analyzing why it didn't work. But again, never attach value to something like that in that way, okay? Never do that. Just don't make that mistake of actually attaching so much hope to something and actually losing sight of rational thinking, of rationale overall. And yeah, that is unfortunately one of the drawbacks of the occult, okay? That's normal. You're dealing with spiritual astral forces here, so when things go wrong, they're going to manifest in the way, one of the main ways that they're going to manifest is mentally or spiritually. You're going to become unstable mentally. I'm not saying that you're going to go insane, but that's the worst case scenario, that you're literally going to become clinically insane and have to be admitted into a psychiatric ward or a facility or something. God knows that almost happened to me, but that was even before I became an occultist. My point is simply is to be on guard. Okay, don't do everything. Just don't allow yourself to fall into such a trap easily, okay? If you're a practicing occultist and something like that happens to you, then fine. Okay, it's a danger that comes along with practicing. But in any case, don't allow yourself to be, no, my patron is standing next to me. He told me that he'll never allow something like that to happen to me. And my vice patron too, he's saying the same thing. They just put their hands on my shoulders. That's why I did this just now. In any case, just be weary of that, okay? That's normal to have a mental breakdown as an occultist. Because yeah, that's when things go wrong, okay? That means that you piss someone or something off, and that's the way it's manifesting. Or you did something that you weren't supposed to do. But my point is simply don't attach hope. I already addressed this in a previous video. Don't attach hope to anything like that. This doesn't just apply to the occult. This applies to everything in a general sense. Don't attach hope to something. Don't apply for a job interview and then start daydreaming about how you're going to be sitting in the office and how you're going to have it easy and how you're going to do this and do that. No. Always set yourself up for the worst case scenario. What's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, that way if the worst thing does indeed happen, it won't come as a surprise and as a shock to you. Because believe me, when your heart drops out of desperation, believe me, it is so easy to sink into a depression or have a mental breakdown. God knows it almost happened to me when I first when I tried to summon a spirit the first time. But again, like I said, I already addressed that in a previous video called the danger of the occult, etc. So that's just my message, okay? Because believe me, most of the customers that I've gotten are hopelessly unstable mentally. I mean, I can literally taste their suffering on my tongue. A bunch of negative emotions, regret, anger, frustration, desperation, you name it, everything else in between. Let's see. Yeah, that is what I wanted to address in this video. That's something that you need to be careful. Just try to evade mental instability and try to not sink into that hole, or to sink into that black hole, or into that quicksand. Just be wary of mental instability and breaking down in an occult when engaging in occult endeavors. And another thing I want to advise too, for wannabe, would-be, and potential customers, or people that are already my customers, I've had a couple of people complain that my stuff is, that my prices are expensive, significantly expensive. And I'm just stating all of this as a reminder to wake people up. Wake up! I mean, seriously, if you're a customer and you're approaching me for serious work, just think about this for a second, okay? What you're doing is like buying a refrigerator, buying a car, you name it. If you come to me, for example, and you basically tell me, hey, listen, I want financial stability, I want this, I want that, okay? Then all of it can be done, but it's going to take a while, and don't expect it to be cheap. I mean, if you're someone that makes 2,000 American dollars a month, and you want me to see to it that you make as much money as possible, and everything goes well, and within a year or half a year you're making 5 times as much, you're making $10,000 a month, they actually think that my fee is just going to be something like what, $200 or $300? It's laughable. That's why I already told a customer that complained about this in the past, and that he told me he learned this lesson with me, an expensive lesson. And this was someone that's adept too, okay? This isn't some mundane person. This was a guy that saw the spirits that I set to the task. And he told me, hey, this spirit visited me. We had this discussion, and I saw him working. I saw him make things happen. And yet, I don't know, he had the illogical idea of still asking me if I'm willing to consider at least a partial refund. And I told him no. I told him, you yourself told me via messaging that these spirits, that they approach you, and that they did this and that they did that. Okay, and it's too bad that you didn't get what you want the way you wanted it, but you saw yourself that work has been done. So you're not eligible for a refund. I already told you my conditions and so on. And I also explained it to him. I don't know, if people... Again, a lot of people that want to buy spellcasting services, just ignore the ringtone. A lot of people that want to buy spellcasting services seem to be unaware of the fact of the sheer importance of what you're doing, let alone that it's easy. And that's why I also told that customer that I was referring to just now, I told them too, you're more than welcome to try a $5 scammer or anybody else. Try a $5 caster or anybody else. Good luck with that. We'll see where that gets you. I wasn't upset or anything. I told him in a dry, normal, monotone voice. But it's just, I don't know. Sometimes people seem to, they're either too ignorant to be aware of how difficult what I do is, or how difficult the real spellcasting is, or anything similar. So again, believe me, this isn't going to cost $5 or $10 or even a couple of $100. The same way that decorating your house, or literally just taking a down payment on anything, okay, on a house, a mortgage, you name it, or taking out a loan is anything easy, okay? Quality costs money, period, okay? I'm not saying that I want $50,000, $50K. But my prices are equivalent to the services that I offer. Again, that's why for most customers I make up a custom price, and again, I explain to people what it is. Besides, even if I don't explain it to them, my gig description in my web shop already states what it is that I do and what I offer. And it already states too that there is a refund policy if nothing at all happens, and if my work, okay, if my divination signal that yes, nothing indeed has happened, then yeah, you're eligible for a refund. But if not, then no. Why? Because the work has already been done. Energy has already been sent out. I literally just tell people everything. For most of my customers, I make a custom YouTube video and I explain everything for them. The same way that you guys watch my YouTube videos and you can see what kind of work I do for myself. That's literally the same thing I do for customers, okay? And believe me, all of this takes time, energy, and money, of course. People think that I just that I just have everything ready and that these things are cheap. No, everything, candles, oils, incenses, everything I do, I have to import from the US, for example, or any other location in the world where these items are available to work with the best quality items. Not to mention the sheer amount of energy that goes through me, okay? Leading to sometimes as a negative consequence, as that manifests in the form of anxiety, of restlessness, of emotional restlessness, you name it. Okay, what I do isn't just, I don't just get paid as a customer. I don't just get paid and all of a sudden I just perform a ritual and it's easy peasy. Nah. Okay, it takes a tremendous toll on me mentally. Even as we speak right now, I feel like I'm on fire. I literally feel like my blood is on fire. And that's just the way things are, okay? It's all part of being a magician and being an occultist. It takes a tremendous toll on me mentally. I've been feeling restless for the past week. I sometimes feel neurotic. I feel angry. I'm filled with rage sometimes. You name it. That's all the cost. That is the cost. That's what it takes to be where I am. And that is the cost, the toll that my work takes on me. And that's my point that's the point that I want to make towards what would be or potential customers or people that are already my customers. That's why my prices are so relatively speaking high compared to the rest. Because believe me, most people out there, I've checked out my competition and these guys are hopeless scammers. They make me laugh with their stupidity and their dumb nonsense that they just post online. Whereas what I do literally everything that I just planned, and I do that on a frequent basis. Let's just say on a weekly basis, hosting rituals once a week, once every 2 weeks, and I update people on the entire process. It's not easy. All of this stuff isn't easy. So again, like I just said, my prices are literally and figuratively speaking equivalent to the service that I offer. Okay, if you don't like it, then you're more than welcome to go to a $5 or a $10 magician or spellcaster that is going to scam you undoubtedly, or is literally only going to do this. Universe, help this customer out. That's it. That's what your $5 is worth, or your $10, nothing else. Again, it's like the equivalent of trying to buy a bedroom set. For example, decorating one's bedroom and only thinking that you're going to decorate it with $100. You will be, but good luck with that, because you're going to have to buy all of your stuff at a flea market. And don't be surprised if your bed literally just caves in one evening, a week after you've bought it, and you literally are forced to sleep on the ground. So again, my point is clear. That's what I had to say.